Our next group, this is very exciting. This is Claire Evans and Dr. Serandour. Your both videos are up. Great, excellent. Let me see if I can unmute you. And they are from Chile, and they have a wonderful program that they're going to be talking about. Claire is the director of Yo Invento project in the south of Chile, and Dr. Serandour is the director of the Refuge Lab in the Faculty of Engineering at the University of Southern Chile, through which the Yo Invento project is hosted. And you can see my Spanish is beyond belief horrible. But please, the stage is yours now.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks.
Do you want to start?
Well, actually, today Guillaume is going to be presenting, and I'll just be here at the end to answer questions if you have any questions related to the Yo Invento project.
So I'm gonna have to share my screen. Yeah. So here we go. So hopefully we don't have a problem. So as Jake mentioned, I run a makerspace. It's called Leufu Lab. Leufu means river in the language of the Mapuche, the original people of the region. And we work in the Southern University of Chile, Universidad Austral de Chile, which is in Valdivia, more or less 900 kilometers south of Santiago. And we're gonna talk about what we do and how we came about to be involved with Yo Invento. Leufu Lab, and here is the only Spanish sentence in the presentation, is a project I started in 2013 and really in 2015. And the pitch, the first description of the place was a collaborative space where we can learn, we can innovate, we can play, we can create, we can invent. That pitch didn't go well in 2013, but pushing through, we managed to start in 2015. And basically what we do, we operate mainly with undergraduate students, and we help them do cool stuff. So they come to us, they've got projects, they've got theses, they've got assignments. They want to build something, and we help them to build. Yeah, we've got a few examples of undergrad projects. We work with the yacht club of the university to help them build boats with some of our technology. Architecture students who want to do maquettes and models, and basically that's what we do with undergrad students. And we help as well colleague, faculty staff with research projects. And we do that with classical makerspace. We've got 3D printer, mainly low-cost 3D printer, very useful when you can maintain them working. We've got a few printers with stereolithography, which is with resin. It's a bit more involved. We've got experimental 3D printer where students build their own printer and try to do new stuff, new materials or new functionality. We've got routers, laser cutting machine, bending machine, and then we've got lots of tools, development tools for programming, and we've got all junk. We like as well here finding old machine, abandoned machine, and doing some scavenging. And we work there with the waste disposal unit of our university. So we are having all those manufacturing capacities, and that help us to teach students, to help colleagues, but as well to promote science and technology with kids. One of the things we do a lot when in normal times is working with colleagues at the hospital, and we've been doing that for at least 3 years, using principally 3D printing to help better the service, that is provided to patients in our region. We do surgery planning, we do prosthesis, and we've started to do some research in tissue engineering. And all of that is very, very real, very applied. All the photos we've got here are real case. But yet we are doing it always with, we need to have fun in what we do in the lab, so students show motivation and autonomy to realize all of those projects. And since 2015, where we are very much involved with outreach and school, we started with simple lab visits, science fair. We had some workshops, and we did a first innovation project in 2017. So that went well. And what we do in the lab is all the students who work in the lab as undergrad, they have to help for outreach activities. It's part of the deal. So like, oh, you want to come to the lab to make cool stuff and to use the 3D printer? That's fine. But you need to help me to teach kids in school to do the same. So that's part of the deal, and we've been working like that for the past 5 years. And after the first contest we ran, we thought we could do something a bit better, a bit more adapted to our reality, with what kind of space we've got available and machinery. And in 2018, we started to talk with Claire and to see how to have a decent program centered around our infrastructure. And in 2019, we started with Yoinvento. Claire has been presenting the project, I think, in the past. Basically, we've got public-private funding, and we have an invention contest. And during this invention, kids have to do prototypes, and here where the lab as such intervenes in the project. That's the logo of our project. And what we do, basically, we receive kids during their prototyping phase, and we give them expert advice, we give them feedback, we can do some training, specific training, and manufacturing. And there, they've got the opportunity to use the infrastructure we've got, or all kind of testing equipment, computer for programming, and all the hardware necessary to do their project. And here came 2020. So 2020 was quite interesting. We had the same team of people. So we knew what we were doing, and we knew what we didn't want to do again. We have a new building, like I'm in it at the moment. It's 1,000 square meters dedicated to that kind of activity, innovation, maker. We had a new approach because we did quite a bit of feedback from the 2019 version. How can we help better kids in their endeavor? And the problem is we had a new virus as well. So that has been a little bit of a problem because we can't do anything presential. We can't really use the new building. But more importantly, is, at the start of the pandemic, we decided to get into it and see how we can help. Very much like the previous presentation. So yeah, some of the stuff we started to do pretty quickly. As you've seen in a few slides away, we do develop a lot of product for hospital. And so we've got a close relationship with the medicine faculty and with the hospital. So as soon as we heard about the COVID, we started to talk, what could we do to help? And then we started to develop a few initiatives. The first thing we did was face mask. So yeah, it's basically the same as the previous presentation. Here we saw that some people were trying to 3D print them. So we started with 3D print one model, and it was so slow that immediately we iterated and we looked at simply cutting acrylic with a laser cutter. That was really fast to produce. We could do it in acrylic because it was okay with disinfection process at the hospital, and that allows to do 5,000 very quickly to distribute to our health service. And while we were distributing this first lot, we designed another version that's compatible with molding, and then we send it. Well, we had the mold designed, and we sent to do a further 10,000. And now that the mold, we've lended it to other place in Chile where they can use it and produce face mask for their region. At the moment, we've got 15,000 in our region that have been produced, and a further 13,000 in other region. What we did as well is to look at swab. That's something that is and is not a problem. We still don't really know, but could be a problem or could have been a problem. When we tell, we started to see initiatives, principally in the States, of doing alternative model for that kind of swabs. Like that, if they run out, we can build them ourselves. So we went through various design iteration, materials, process, and at the moment we've got something that is not as good as the best, but that is good enough to replace the best if there is no best. So we are fairly happy with that. We've got we are just waiting for the order if someone needs it, and we can produce. So those are two initiatives we made, and another thing we are very much into is this little mechanical end. So here it's quite interesting because we were in contact with people at the hospital. We started to look at what we could do and to look at situation where we could protect health staff. That was our priority. And so we started to look our regional reality is that we've got one hospital that allowed for the treatment of critical patients. And we've got lots of rural attention posts where the patient will arrive and will need a transport to the hospital. And so we've started to work on this little machine just to be able to relieve the nurse or the paramedic while waiting for the ambulance to arrive. And we've been doing lots of iteration here because then kicks in norms and you need to have it certified and this and that. So there has been quite a bit of ping pong, but hopefully today we've got one that's gonna go to an hospital for further testing in real. And all of those projects, they really like, yeah, we've got also electronic part where we had to learn new things because really it exceeded the difficulty we usually have with our project. That's fairly involved. So like how to clean spaghetti cable. That was something we learned a lot in this process. Basically, we've matured a lot, and now we are seeing how can we translate this new knowledge, this new attitude to the mentoring we will give to kids participating in the program. The first lesson really is the team. Here we've been working a lot with doctors, paramedics, hospital directors, people involved in logistics and in an hospital, trying to understand all the process, how you disinfect things, it's a big machine, health system, and if you need to enter it, you need to understand it. So that's from the point of view of understanding necessity and how to vinculate your development to real necessities. it's going to be useful to be able to share this experience with kids. We've worked as well with many people, and particularly veterinary science people, who helped us to validate our ventilator with animal testing, non-lethal. All the animals survived testing. They were pigs and they went well. It was quite interesting as well. There's some ethical dimension in this kind of development. We were very attached to our pigs and they're safely in the countryside now. But everything here is a new experience that you can share, and that's a positive aspect. So, like, based on all this new knowledge and the fact that we can't really have a presential activity still, now we've got a team. So yeah, we've got many people participating. We've got mechanical, electrical engineers, software engineers, designers, mechanical engineers, doctors, and all this team can give feedback in virtual tutorials. In a way, due to the condition, we had as well to learn how to interact virtually, and now we're kind of ready to be able to have all the groups having feedback about their prototypes. What we're doing as well is we're generating material that we started for undergrad, but at the moment we're looking at how to pass it to a level more adapted to school kids, but we gives us a tremendous opportunity to document something that's interesting, that involves a lot of manufacturing process, so we can use that as teaching material. And so we've been producing little videos that demonstrates all the process we use, all the machinery, softwares, etc. And that's basically the presentation. And now we can answer a question, or if Claire feels like it's necessary to complement a bit the presentation, we can see what she's got to say.
Very good, very good. Can you unshare your screen?
Yes.
Here we go. So, Claire, is there anything you would like to add?
Just to say that obviously in this whole lockdown context, we're still in lockdown here in Valdivia. So we've launched a virtual invention course with our students. We've got 43 students who have signed up. We're doing 3 different sessions during the week, and we're presenting a 9-week course for the students, in which we're guiding them through the engineering design process, and basically hoping that they're going to come up with an invention and build a prototype at home using materials that they can find at home. And that will finish, or they'll go through their process and come up with an initial prototype, which they will then present to the mentors and the team at the Leeuwfoelab. So the idea is that before they go through to do a video pitch, they'll actually have an opportunity to present their prototypes to the team at the Leeuwfoelab and get some feedback, which they'll then be able to use to improve their prototypes, to improve their designs, before they then go through to the actual invention convention competition. So we're looking forward to seeing how that works, to be doing this whole process virtually.
Just to let you know, I greatly admire what you've been doing, and I know you don't have all the bugs worked out, and you just started doing it, and we understand that. But I've been telling people about this, and we have 2 people watching right now that I know. One is from Argentina, and one is from Mexico. So
great, hi.
Because my dream is that you can all work together. So obviously, your materials are all in Spanish.
Yeah.
So is there some opportunity for other Spanish-speaking countries to somehow get involved with what you are doing? And if you can give your answer in Spanish, that's even better.
Yeah, I mean, part of my work has been translating. There's so much materials in English, obviously, on this subject, but each time we've had to translate and also adapt for our reality. I mean, the Chilean reality is very different from other countries, and so we've had to adapt materials and change them. And as we've gone through the whole process, we've been designing new material. Obviously, we've actually written a guidebook that's all in Spanish. And yeah, I mean, it would be great to collaborate and see how we could work with other countries, sharing material, sharing good practice. Obviously, we're always open to collaborating.
Any other, I mean, I don't want to, Claire, it's fine, but Dr. Serandour, do you have a comment or a question or anything?
Yeah, I think it's important to have those networks of sharing information, because lots of people involved in that basically do the same thing, have the same interests, same background, and obviously sharing it allow to not reinvent the wheel all the time as well. So like there are lots of, at the moment as well, we're seeing how to make this content available. We do it in Spanish, we do it with English subtitles, we're doing in English with Spanish subtitles. How do you share content? What's the best way to share content it's quite difficult to figure out. But we live and we can see now, like the pandemic shows that we can use internet and digital media for learning and teaching, which always has been a promise of the internet, but took a pandemic to show that yes, it can really work if people start to share content.
What ages are your students and how many students are involved in the program?
In the UMVent, those students are from the 5th grade, must be, to the 8th, 9th grade, something like that. There are 10 schools, so around 50 students this year due to the pandemic. And in the lab, we've got the mentors, generally undergraduate students or just about to graduate students. They're around their early and mid-20s. And here we've got 7, 8 people in rotation. And when it's presential, we've got more students helping in the program, around 10, 15 students who can mentor school children.
And how are you funding this? Obviously, it takes some money to do this. Where is that coming from?
Well, for those 2 first versions, we've got public funding from our region. So like there is some regional, I would say something like federal funding or state funding. Well, it's a bit the same here. So we've got some regional funding, a bit of private funding to companies, and at the moment we are looking at how to sustain the program in the year with more, I think, at the end, more private funding, not to have to answer a call for a project every year, and to have something a bit more sustainable and continuous. It was good to have done it one and now a second time, because then it makes it easier to find funding if you do it well. So hopefully this round of funding will be good for us for 2021 and more.
When you try, I'm sorry I keep focusing on the money, but I have run organizations, and I know without the money, you can't do these good things. So when you're trying to go for private funding for corporations, I guess, or how are you approaching them? What are you telling them is the benefit to them for giving you money?
Well, it's for the first 2 versions, the benefit was was getting involved in a program that has a social impact and a social responsibility, principally because we do attend kids from public school in rural sectors. They're from vulnerable social class, so we do have a social use for the company. We need to. We ideally would be we've got a company as well in technology, so interested in invention and the innovation process as well, so that adds to the attractivity of the program. But at the moment we are looking at having someone specialized in how to sell what we want to sell, which is basically giving opportunity to any kids to achieve their dream, their potential. So that's very intangible. It's not something you can touch, and it's something that sometimes we are not really good at selling. So like we are looking at someone professional to sell us to the best bidder as well, because you want to have partners that are interested by the project and not the image of the project. But it's the funding is not only your inventor. I've got to maintain 10 staff to help research project, to help development, to help entrepreneurship with students. So that as well is part of the package I sell to prospective sponsors.
Mm-hmm. Julie, I'm sorry, I'm just fascinated by this. I'm not trying to hog the event here, but
oh, please keep asking questions.
No. So one of the things I tell the students is, you know, the best thing you can do is learn from your mistakes or learn from your problems. So can you tell us about some unexpected problem that you had, and then what did you do about it to fix it?
There recently, it's principally with the ventilators thing. We had quite a bit of, not trouble, but what to prioritize kind of problem, because on one side we've got not the client, yes, we could call it the client, the person who comes and say, help me, I've got, that's where I need help. And then so you start to identify what are his necessity, the problem, you find a solution, and then comes another parameter, and then you've got to define if you keep doing what you were doing because of what you had identified of, or if you diverge and you go towards this new objective. And here, principally with the certification process, it's been quite difficult, and here we got lost at some point, chasing chimeras, chasing ghosts, and wanting to chase those ghosts, we totally lost the focus, the initial focus. We lost almost 3 weeks doing that, so we had to go back, and it was difficult as well to make the decision to go back, because during the process of being wrong, the people in the team, really good progress or really good work, yet the path was wrong. So like you kind of need to forget almost everything you've done to start from zero. That is a very decision to make, but it's part of the learning process as well. Like we've learned a lot from that, and maybe get less attached to the design. Like we start to have a lot of fondness for what we do, and sometimes we not think clearly about it for that.
Great. Well, this is very exciting. I am so excited every time I hear more about what you're doing, because I know you literally started from scratch just a very short time ago, and that's just amazing what you've been able to create. I hope the administration appreciates what you're doing. I know the parents and the students do, but I want to congratulate you and your whole staff on what I consider to be a tremendous success. Even though, yes, I know you want it to be even higher, but I think what you've accomplished is absolutely amazing, and you really are an exemplar for the whole world. And I'll keep telling people about what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
guys.
Thanks.